If you're doing the work, posting, launching, selling, building all of your offers, but the results are still not matching your effort, this episode will show you exactly why. It is not your discipline. Okay. It's not that you are not a hard working woman, but there is one thing that you're missing that's keeping you stuck. I've coached women who are some of the hardest working people I know. They're consistent, they're dedicated, they're doing all of the thing, and they will still feel like they are running in circles. But when we fixed this missing piece, like everything starting to click, sales starting to come in, and confidence starting to build up again, and growth actually happened after this confidence was built up again. Hi, I'm going after the hundreds of women how to build and scale their businesses online by blending energetic strategy and mindset work to build a holy shit, I can't believe this is mine, multi six figure business. And today we are talking about what's really missing when you're doing the work but not getting the result. And right now, you might be posting the content, like I was mentioning, and posting the content multiple times a week, creating offers, you showing up, you following the plan. So someone gave you a plan, you follow the plan, launching or selling, wondering why is it not working? I did the launch and I did this exact same launch 3 months ago. Why is it not working anymore? You might even be thinking, I'm not lazy, like I'm doing everything I was told to do. Or you may be thinking, okay, what more can I do? I need to do more. Like I'm not getting the usual result. Like what else can I do? Or why does it feel like nothing is working? Something is weird. And here is a truth, is that doing the work is just not enough. That's why you can do exactly the same thing as you were doing 6 months ago, 3 months ago, the same launch, and it's not going to work the same way. And if this was enough to do the work, everyone who has the same strategy as you will be a millionaire right now. Yeah. The strategy is a huge piece, but so is your energies, just so is also your identity. And I hate the sentence that I'm going to speak about. I hate the sentence like, it's not about working more, but working smarter. I hate this sentence, so I'm not going to say exactly this. But truly, like here, it's just not about doing more. That's for sure. Like it's if you're doing a launch at the moment, or you're selling in like a certain way, or you have a webinar, or you're doing ads, or whatever, you have a funnel. It's not about all the time doing more. It's actually about doing the right thing from the right place, like the right intention. And listen, like I know you are following a strategy. Okay. I know you're following a strategy. You have not started your business 2 days ago. Maybe you are doubting your strategy. Maybe you're not sure if your strategy is really the one you should be using for where you're at in your business, what you are selling, what you want to do. And yes, changing things up all the time, probably. And yes, we could question if your strategy is the best or the correct one for you. Okay. But if you are taking action, and when you take action and you do your launches and you sell and you create content, it is from a place of stress, of doubt, of feeling massive pressure of result. Like I need to have those results now, or just to get something from it. Your strategy will probably not produce the result you want. It's not going to maybe produce the same as you have done before. Being attached to the outcome and only doing something because of the money is not going to make an energetic match for your ideal client. If your mindset is rooted in survival, okay, you're going to keep attracting first people who are also rooted in survival. And I can promise you, you're not going to love serving them. You will also keep attracting struggle and feel like you struggle. Okay. If your mindset is rooted in survival, you feel like you're struggling, you are going to attract people who are struggling a lot and are not going to get results because it's so hard. Yeah. And you're going to share from this. So yes, doing the work matters. Okay. But the way you do it and your intention and which place are you coming from is also so important. I'm in a membership, like as an example, right now for women, like in business, and they were saying like, oh my god, like it's so refreshing to not see messaging in there, like in the membership, from people saying, oh my god, creating content is so hard, or this is so hard, or it's a chore, blah blah blah. And that's exactly why also all the people in there are amazing and have amazing results, because no one is like, oh my god, like life is so hard, I have to create a social media post, like, is it that hard? Like, you are having such stuff that are so much harder. But of course, if this is what you believe in, it's probably not what you believe if you're listening to me right now. If not, you would probably be like, okay, goodbye. But like, it is not that hard. I'm not saying that it's not hard to know what to post, that it's not hard to be certain, to feel confident. Like, maybe that can be, but like the action of creating a post on a free platform for people, and expecting people to pay you from it, like, and people actually paying you from this, like, this is not hard. Okay, like, we are women in this membership, like, with kids or without kids, but a lot of responsibility, multiple jobs, having properties to take care of, and that's also a big job, sometimes family to support. And so doing a fucking piece of content is nothing. Okay, it is not, it doesn't go with the word hard. But women who will show up and do the same strategy, okay, as someone else, and saying constantly, or thinking it, by the way, because it can be also just underthinking, I have to do a social media post. I just want to do nothing and clients to fall from the sky. Of course, they're not going to have the same strategy as someone who is driven, who is not attached to the outcome, who is showing up even when the results are not showing up, and taking this at data, and then next time doing things differently. Of course, you are going to find content hard if you think you need to be someone else also than you are. Okay. And so if you think, and I feel that sometimes my clients will have found that content was hard until like we recalibrated the mindset, did feel like this because they were not speaking their truth. They were not really like sharing the stuff that they wanted to share. And they were feeling like they needed to be different to be an authority. They needed to be this or this. And yes, there is all of the image, and how you look and how all of the stuff. And it's important to feel confident. And I love having done photo shoots, and I'm doing another one next week, like, to have content so I don't have to all the time take pictures of myself. But, and I want them to like embody really like who I am, like, as a person, and I feel like that's art, and that's why like we hire people to take those pictures, because it's art for someone to like see you and be able to like put this who you are like on a picture, like, this is so amazing. But like, beyond the pictures, beyond all of this, you actually don't need to be someone else. And content is quite easy to write when you know your ideal client like the back of your hand, and when you're just speaking your truth, not trying to be something that you're not, and when you show up as you are. And I'm not saying to like show up in your pyjama. Well, you could actually, like, I'm sure people, their entire brand is that they're always in pyjama. I'm actually thinking about someone who makes like 7 figures and she's always in pajamas, Like, there is absolutely no rules, okay? You do need to have very strong strategy foundation and an understanding of business, okay? That's why like I teach strategy to all of my clients. But you also need all of the rest if you actually want to make the strategy work. And the point is that two persons can be doing the exact same thing, following the same content prompts or whatever they're doing, okay? And they can have different results. And I see it all the time, like, if I teach a strategy to someone and I would take the exact same strategy and teach it to someone else, they're not going to have the same result, okay? And that happens for a lot of different reasons. But the two main reasons are your identity, okay? So who you believe you are and what you believe is true, okay? For example, I'm someone for whom content creation is hard, or I'm someone that create content easily because I just say what happens in my life and I love it, right? Does that make sense? Like, the main reason is your identity, but also like how people perceive you, right? And so people are going to perceive you also the way that you perceive yourself. So if you don't perceive yourself as someone very confident, someone that can handle hardship, someone that can support a lot of clients, of course they're not going to see you like this. And so the second reason is your energy, okay? That's your vibe. And when you look at someone and you can't believe any word that they say, It's because they have this weird energy of a lizard, of a gecko. And you're not going to buy from them, obviously. And I was actually just having a conversation on this with just one of my intensive one-to-one clients, like right now, like just before recording this. And she was saying like how sick she is about going on social media, and it's all this like bold BS. And she was just like, how can I be bold? I don't want to be like those people. I'm like, don't be like those people. I was like, first, you can be bold and don't say BS. Like, I am bold and I don't say BS. But it's also more about this like fake marketing. And her experience was coming from like, so she's doing an intensive with me and she just did an intensive with someone else. And I'm not going to give the names of anything. So like this is just a private story, but just for the example. And she didn't get what she paid for. Okay. So what was said that she would get, let's say this, and this, she didn't get it. But the marketing said that she would get this. And so I'm just sharing this conversation with you to understand that she didn't get not what she wanted, but what was said she would get. Okay, the support, like the deliverable, like the things. And a lot of marketing is like this. And I've also bought into marketing like this in the past, and then buying into an offer and then being delivered something that honestly sucks. And so, yeah, some people are a lot better in marketing than they are in delivering, which is interesting, isn't it? So here, like, I want you to think that you don't have to fake the things. Like, you can definitely be yourself. Okay, so let's move on. What do you need to check when you're doing the work but you're not getting the result? Okay, so the first thing I want you to check is, are you rooted in the strategy? Okay, or are you just staying busy? And this is like an important point. Okay, and I want you to be honest. Like, are your daily actions aligned with your goals, or are you just doing something? And there is also a part of this, like when you are not running your business like a CEO, but more like an employee. And that probably means when you are doing like a lot of day-to-day tasks. What I mean in this is when you are, for example, creating content. You're like, okay, like what is on my list? Today I create content and then I answer my clients and then I move on. Okay. And this is the day-to-day. Okay. And this is going to keep you busy. But are you doing just this, like the day-to-day, the month-to-month? Or do you actually have a long-term strategy and behave as someone who is going to make 10K a month? Do you believe that you're going to make 10K months with the business that you have right now? What do you have to straighten in your business to be able to make 10K months? You don't need to do more stuff, probably. Okay. But on a daily basis, myself, I answer clients' messages, like, and they send me messages like all the time in the day, and I connect to my phone at least twice a day to reply to my client messages and a little bit more for my one-to-one client. And I do this, I create a piece of content and I work on my offers to make it better, to make them better. And that's it. Yeah, it's not complicated, but simple is not easy either. And you see, like my daily task, like what I do every day, answering my clients, and that's to deliver what I said in my marketing I'm going to deliver. And I always deliver what I'm saying I'm going to deliver. And then creating a piece of content, okay, for my marketing and making my offers the best that they can be. And I always refine them. This is not a strategy. This is not how I'm going my business, how I'm going to grow my business to make $1 million in cash in my business. It's not because I have done those stuff. And most women are stuck in this maintenance mode. And so instead of gaining momentum and then the result changing, they're actually doing the same thing every day. And then they're seeing the same result. And then they're doing the same action. And then they like having a validation from the world then that actually, yeah, whatever they do, it's the same result again and again, because actually they're not taking any risk in this. And this is not playing big. This is definitely playing small. Another thing to look at, and a question I want to ask you is, are you the most confident, certain, and convicted person in the room? In the room being like in your industry, okay? Because if you are showing up with like a shaky energy of like, yeah, I hope this works. Like, I really hope people see the benefit in this. Like, no, would you pay yourself thousands of dollars today? That's a good question, isn't it? Results come when you lead with certainty, when you lead with confidence, when you are super clear on your positioning. I know, because that's also why we hire people. That's why I hire people. That's why people hire me. That's sales psychology. You hire people that you believe can help you have the result that you want to have, knowing exactly where you're at and what you want to be doing. You can't ask people to trust you if you're not showing up like your true self. And if it feels like you're almost hiding something, which is your true self. So another question for you is your identity aligned with the results that you want? Like, do you see yourself as a six-figure business owner or someone trying to get there? Because if your actions, they're strong, okay? They're strong, like you take bold action. But your identity, like you invest in yourself, in your business, you're looking at the big picture, you're doing things that will make your business generating like multi six figure or six figures per year, and you're doing like big actions, not just like creating content and answering client messages. If you are doing this, but your identity is stuck in, I'm still trying, you're going to hit a wall. This is why identity work, it's not optional, okay? Identity work is what drives everything in your business because of who you are. And I know that in my business, like in one of my previous business, I didn't do any identity work because I actually knew that I was the fucking best at what I was doing. And my business made right away like six figure a year. And this is, however, identity work, a work that I had to do, okay, in more recent parts of my business, okay, to do this identity work and to really do it helped me also deliver this to my clients so much. And it's a piece before that I was missing because I didn't have to do this work for myself. And that's why I believe like everything that we are going through as business owners and as coaches and as space holders, like is to better hold space later for our people. And I know that I needed to work so hard on my identity recently to be able to have my client do the same. And that's why now I know that it is not optional. Okay. It is not optional. I know that it drives exactly like what action you're going to take, and your action are going to drive your result. Like it's quite straightforward. And because it's who you are, how you show up, and you show up a certain way because you believe you are something, someone. And because you show up a certain way, people perceive you a certain way. And then they buy from you because they're like, she's so confident. She's so this. She can totally help me. Now, another question for you. And I think I just have a couple more question for you. Is, are you embodying what you say you stand for? Yeah. Are you embodying what you say you stand for? Because you can write the most confident caption. You can be like behind the scene, well, no, actually, like you could write the most amazing caption, show up on social media, be so confident because maybe like for you it's easy. And then behind the scene being like doubting everything all the time, every single little move that you make. Embodiment is about congruence. Okay. It's like you are who you say you are. And this is really what builds trust in yourself first. Okay. And then trust with the people. And then that is what is going to sell. And if you feel like if your client, sometimes we say, oh, if your client were a little fly in your house or just like following you along during your day, do you think they will hire you when they see like what you're doing? Would you hire yourself? This is a very important question. What do you think your clients will say if they were looking at you, at what you do during the day? Another question is, are you giving strategies enough time to work? And I talked about this quite a bit because I feel it needs to be said again and again. How to say that? Like some people will feel like it's so hard because like they are trying to grow their business for 6 months. And recently I listened to something and someone was saying like, don't like expect any result in the first 2 years of your business. And I think that even if this might be untrue, like that it's not that you will not have any result, but you might. And I think if instead of expecting it, being like, okay, like on the flashy social media, they said that I could have this in 6 months, I starting my business from zero and then have that. Like I saw this girl, like this is exactly what happened to her. And why is it not happening to me? I think that if we didn't have this expectation, we will actually be better without it. And so then you would stick to the strategy that you know is working well for you. You would not be changing direction every 2 weeks, expecting momentum. Okay. Because you have to build your brand, okay, until like people recognize your brand, people recognize you, people know who you are, people know that buying from you means to have result. And until this is the moment, you are going to of course have to build up this momentum. It's not like you're going to drop something and everyone will be like, oh my god, let me buy all of the stuff. Repeating and refining wins every time, okay, every time, over starting over. And most people, it's not that they fail. Honestly, all the online entrepreneurs that I see, it's not that they fail. It's just that they stop before it actually works because they're like, it's hard. And yeah, it's so fucking hard. Like if you're listening to this and you have an online business, you know that, and especially if you have your online business for over a year, you know that it's not like, oh, in 6 months and then here you go, you have all of this stuff, and you can just like relax, drink your spicy margarita next to your swimming pool, in the castle that you built, and yes, some business not give massive result for a couple of years, and if you're not willing to go through this and you need to make a quick ROI every time you invest, you're also not probably cut for this. And yes, it will be very hard for you. Like I can't tell you the number of intensive or work that I did with coaches to help me that I didn't see any ROI. Well, not an instant one. Like I did intensive for like a month, paying $5,000, let's say, to help me with messaging and some stuff, and I didn't make $5,000 at the end of it. And I'm not like, give me my money back. Like, where are my $5,000? Because I actually learned so much, and I know this is an investment in my business and I'm not expecting to make the money out of it today. I am building a brand. There are so many things that are still like to be discovered, to be understood, to be cleared up. Okay. So I don't believe, okay, by the way, that you are one of those person that is putting themselves as a victim of the world because you are listening to this. So you're not a victim. Okay. You are a queen. You're building your castle one brick at a time. And yeah, I think it's time for you also to show them who the fuck you are, and I'm not saying that in your content you have to say who the fuck you are. You have to swear all of this stuff, it's just like, for me, that's just how I talk, and it's not that I swear every 2 minutes, but I do swear sometimes, especially when my boy is not here. You are at the moment probably not doing anything fundamentally wrong. Okay. You have a strategy, maybe you're posting content, and you're doing a bit of the mindset work. But you might be doing some of the right thing from the wrong place in terms of identity, energetic, expecting fruits today, even though you planted the seeds yesterday. And the result come when strategy, energy, and identity, they align. But I know that a lot of you are, so it's not that you're doing fundamentally anything specifically wrong, but it is also an entire upgrade of your business as you upgrade yourself. And you can see already, because you are a smart cookie and that you have not started this business like 2 days ago, you can see already that in your business you went through phases. So you had this exciting phase, most probably like when you started working with me, you had this amazing phase. And that's something, by the way, that is very important. You had this amazing phase where you just like, wow, you started working with me, you created this offer, you made a bunch of sales, more than you ever made. And then there was a bit of a gap. So this is the first win, and we have to have wins at the beginning, like that helps you also build confidence. And then there was this period where you're like, this feels very hard because now I am working on bigger offers, maybe compared to the first offer that you made, or because it was like full momentum. People were expecting what we created, and something was new, like we build up momentum. But then after, there was like this basic work that we have to go back to. And a lot of people lose themselves in this pathway. And that's why also my role as the mentor and the coach is to help you go through this phase, but also reminding you that patience here is so important. And one of the things that I find myself doing the most with my clients inside Elevate, mainly, but also inside the mastermind, is actually to stop you from doing things that you should not be doing and that you know you should not be doing. And you're doing them as the person that you were before, just because you're like, I don't know, I need to try something else and let me do this, And sometimes we have to hold our ground. Yeah. We have something, it is gold, we're creating it, and it takes time. Okay. It takes time to develop this. And that's why, like, for me, I absolutely love like coaching my clients, because I feel like I'm this person by their side that is just like constantly reminding them of how fucking powerful they are, and that no, doing this little step here is not what is important. Okay. Because this is the empire, the castle that they are building. Okay. So yeah, you might be doing the right thing, okay, from the wrong place, like I was mentioning, but I feel like now you're ready. Okay. You're ready to shift from like doing the work, okay, to actually seeing the result. But you are willing to do the deep work, because every time in business, what happens is that we have expansion and we have contraction. So when I was talking about you start working with me, you making like a lot more sales, you create offers, you're like bam, 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 bam. Wow, so cool. Yeah. And so you have this massive expansion, and then you tend to have a massive contraction. And if for you, when you have a contraction, is the time you run away, you stop doing the work, you don't show up, you are doubting everything about your life and about your business, because you are not in the high vibe expansion, your business is not going to survive. Yeah. I am in a deep contraction moment in my business right now. Like, this is probably the longest contraction I had in my business. And I am not afraid to say it, because I feel like sometimes we just don't say it. And I was also guilty of not saying it in the past, because I have so much MMR, monthly recurring revenue, in my business. And so I don't actually often see an income deep when I have a contraction. Yeah. So in my business, when there was a contraction, when sales are not coming in, I do a launch or something and it's not happening. Like, there is a contraction in my business. Maybe something is not aligned, or like, and it can take weeks, or it can take longer than that, month, where there is this contraction. But because when I'm in expansion and things are working, I'm like bam, 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 bam. put the recurring revenue, put the launch, do that. People are going to pay you this per month. Then I never see it financially. That's why, like, right now, and I just calculated this to say that to my coach like a day or two ago, that I had 14 months in a row. For 14 months in a row, I paid myself, so my business obviously made more than that. I paid myself 10K every single month, yeah, as a minimum, and in 14 months. And so I obviously know how to make money, even when my business is in totally shit show. It could look like, when you're like, oh, the sales are not coming in, what is happening? But that's also why I have support. That's why, like, my mentor, why I hire her, is because like this, when I'm in the deep shit, like now, I'm not going to run away and be like, nothing is working. Yeah, it is not working right now. So what can we do to change that, in terms of strategy, but also in terms of mindset? Like, where am I? There are so much stuff to be doing. And I just don't want you to think that your business is just going to be, it's working all the time. Okay. And I'm saying this because I want to be fully transparent with all of you all the time. Okay. And this episode was titled like, you're doing, I think, the work, but without this, like, you might not see the result you want. And so there's other things that might not be happening for you. And like, you can re-listen to this and to the question that I ask you, to really reflect on it and perhaps even journal on it, if this is the way that you process information, and that can help you implement. But the truth is also that after each expansion, you will have a contraction. And after each contraction, you're going to have a massive expansion. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe, okay, so that you don't miss any future training like this one. Remember, there are many ways you can work with me, but the three main ways are to as a group and as a one-one. I actually have a spot open for my 10K sprint. Okay. 10K sprint is 8 weeks one-to-one support to help you set up your entire business to make 10K. You may make 10K, okay, after that, depending on where your business is at, or you may have the foundation and everything in place to do it. And we work on your offers, we work on your messaging, we work on your sales system, building a sales system to make 10K, and we work on your mindset. I also have spots open in both Elevate and in both the mastermind at the moment, depending on the level of support and feedback that you want. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any question. Bye, everyone.